Hello everybody, welcome to my state-of-the-art brand new acoustics laboratory. It is. It's not. It's just my office. We're doing a video back here because I was back here last night doing a live stream and I didn't want to move everything. I kind of liked it back here, so I thought I would go ahead and get the video done that I have been meaning to do for a couple of weeks. This is a review video of a piece of equipment that I rather like, that I've been using, and I'm going to try to do it differently than has been done by about 500,000 other people. I'm going to review a small lavalier microphone that is something that I was in the market for because of the live streaming that I'm doing now. I wanted something really small and compact and unobtrusive with a long battery life that wasn't super expensive. It didn't need to have a long range or do anything very fancy, but it needed to have good sound. And this was one that I came across. It's made by a company by the name of, it's a strange name, Hollyland, as in Hollywood but no wood, or Holyland but with too many L's. It's their entry-level lavalier microphone. It comes in a kit with 2 microphones, 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, all the wires that you would need, and a really cool charging box, kind of like earbuds come in. In fact, very much like it. The devices just get stored in here, and when they're in there, they're getting charged as long as this thing has a charge. I'll tell you all about them and what I've learned about them, and most of it's very good. I mean, they compare favorably to the ones that I've been using, the Rode Go, which I haven't been using lately because the batteries have stopped working. This is a little bit more of a convenient thing. When I have one charged and one charging, I'm pretty much continuously able to use a microphone. Most of the microphone reviews that I see tend to compare things that are really not comparable, like a studio condenser mic to these little lavalier mics, which doesn't make any sense. What I thought might be more helpful for me would be just to use the microphone in the video and use it in the 3 different ways that I tend to use a microphone. I never use one on the camera because I hate the sound of the camera. I do, when I'm out in the field, have to use the GoPro, which I also don't like. In fact, I hate the sound on, but I will use an auxiliary microphone on top of it. So that's something I'm familiar with. So I'm trying it that way. I'm also trying it with my Zoom recorder, which is 99% of the sound in my videos comes through that device. So what I'm going to do is, for a little bit, I'm going to leave it on the GoPro where it is right now. And then when we're done with this little section, I'll attach it to the H5, which is my Zoom digital recorder, and I'll run it through the digital side of that, the USB microphone side. The third thing I'll do is I will try to record some stuff on the phone and use that. Now, there is a 4th way that I would use a microphone in my studio, and that would be during a live stream or similar event if I didn't want to be tied to a directional microphone like I am most of the time. But I haven't been able to get this thing to work with the MacBook yet. Now, I don't blame the microphone for that, not by a long way. I'd have to work at it a little bit longer before I could say it was a problem with a mic. I'm sure that there is a way to get it to pair. I think I would probably need a 3.5 millimeter jack to a USB, which is just something I don't have. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we'll try these 3 ways as I go along and tell you about the microphone, and then you can make up your mind. It's a wireless microphone. It operates at 2.4 gigahertz. And it has a very significant range. What I really like is it has a long range in the house through walls, up to about 120 feet It doesn't need to be line of sight. I've tested it 2 or 3 times in the house in different configurations, trying to get to places where it wouldn't record, and I haven't found one yet. So it very easily stretches from one corner of my house to the far corner without any degradation in the sound quality. So that's good. As far as just line of sight reach, it's way more than I would ever use. 600 feet, something like that. I mean, what do you film at 600 feet that's talking? Nothing that I can think of. So I doubt I would ever need it. But certainly in the kind of range I would use it, say a shot walking towards the camera, yeah, easy, no problem at all. All right, so let's give it a try on the zoom, see how that sounds. I'm going to leave the camera situation the same. I'm just simply going to move the microphone. So that is the microphone now switched over from the GoPro, which is still recording video, to the zoom. And this would be a more typical way that I would use it. I'd record my sound separately from my video. I always do. I'll take the audio from this and from the GoPro, and I'll edit them the way I always do. I won't do anything different, so that you can compare apples to apples, and we'll see what it sounds like. If it doesn't sound decent, then you know, I won't use them, and that's all there is to it. Price. Let's talk about the price. So this set consists of 2 transmitters and 1 receiver and the charging box and a bunch of wires, and interestingly 2 miniature Cossack hats. But I did discover by coincidence, not only does it stay on, but it blocks the sound of wind. Somebody should have thought of that, I would think. But anyway, there you go. They also look like caterpillars. In fact, they look more like caterpillars than Cossack helmets. But it's a nice touch. They're handy. I said it comes with wires. It does. My set came with a 3.5mm jack. So it's straight from the receiver to anything that takes a 3.5. Which is basically anything except the camera or a phone. The camera needs a TRS or a TRRS, this one, the one with the extra ring on it. That works with the camera. The one without the TRRS works with the zoom and with the GoPro. And then there's one, I'm glad to say, that has a regular fire wire or whatever they call the iPhone connector on. And that's the one we're going to be using now. Let me see what else I have forgotten to tell you about the Lark. I didn't tell you the name. It's the Lark, the Hollyland Lark. The user manual is helpful. It explains what the different cables do, and it explains what the flashy lights mean. The flashy lights almost always mean charge the batteries. Is what I have been able to discern from reading it. It's got a lovely diagram on whereabouts on your shirt the microphone goes, under your mouth. You could have figured that out. I'm willing to bet 80% of people could figure that out. It works with Androids, iPhones, cameras, tablets, and yeah, indicator lights. Read it. Read it. If it's green, it's cancelling the noise. If it's blue, it's not. If it's flashing, batteries. You need batteries. And that's about it. There was one other setting that I discovered. I don't know if I've mentioned this. I'm going to mention it again. There's a thing called the mode switch. There are 2 buttons on the side, a volume up and a volume down. The volume up button, and that's what you do to manually pair. If for some reason it doesn't pair automatically when you take it out of the box, but mine have, so yeah, that's how you do that. The second button, the minus volume button, press and hold that for some duration between about 3 seconds and a week, something like that. And while you're doing that, it will allow you to record in stereo. It'll switch from mono to stereo. I think the way it ships it is in a default condition of just recording 2 separate tracks. So you've got a left and a right, which might be useful for some things, but not many. I'd rather they both recorded in stereo, but you can make them do that just by pressing and holding that second volume button. They've got a little clip so that the receiver will clip onto any cold shoe, hot shoe, dancing shoe. It'll just snap on there. It slips into the GoPro just the same way as the other ones, the Rode ones. Okay, so you've had plenty of opportunity now to hear what this sounds like with the phone. I probably would use this from time to time if I found myself out in nature and all I had was the phone. Then I probably wouldn't have this with me. But yeah, if I thought in advance, I could certainly take this and use it with the phone if this sounds okay. Price, did I mention price? A set of the new Rodes, 2 microphones, 1 receiver, and as far as I know, no battery case, costs $300. This costs $149 with 2 microphones, 1 receiver, all the wires, 2 little Russian hats, and the charging box, battery box. I would have to say that considering what I'm using it for, I'm not sure I'd need anything more or anything any better. We'll know a lot when we listen to this. So I'm going to do something a little bit differently after we get through with this in a couple of minutes. I am not going to give you any comments on what I think of the sound. First of all, I haven't listened to this test recording, and I'm not going to before I finish this video. I will listen to it afterwards, and I'll leave a comment. Actually, I'll leave a note in the show description, and you can read that if you want to. But I would rather you make up your own mind. If this sounds reasonable to you, then you'll know that it's an inexpensive microphone that might be worth buying. But yeah, you don't need to know what I think about the sound to decide whether or not you think it's acceptable or not. Hey guys, it was just minutes away from me posting the video when it occurred to me that I hadn't even mentioned the noise cancelling feature on the microphone. I may have mentioned that the button changes color, but I didn't try it out for you. And I have tried to find something that's noisy but not too noisy, and I haven't found anything, but I'm going to try the drill. That ought to do it. So right now it's off because the light's blue. When the light goes to green, the noise cancelling is on, and we're still on the iPhone, so this is still in that last section. Okay, so can you hear that? Do you hear the drill? Okay, all right. Now I'll turn the noise cancelling on. Green light. Any better? Any different? About the same? Does that help? Well, that was it with the noise cancelling on. So let's go listen to it and see if that makes any difference. Okay, that's all I have. I think that based on what I know so far, I'm very happy with this. I think it'll come in handy. It'll do exactly what I want it to do as soon as I can figure out how to use it with a computer, but I'm sure I will. I've got more stuff coming up than you can believe, and I just don't know when I'm going to get to all of it, but I will. And it'll be coming out as I get to it. But videos just overflowing. If you haven't seen the Chris Field interview, it's now back up. I had to do some corrections on a couple of things that I included by mistake. Go watch it. If you haven't seen it, watch it. He is a fantastic guy, a genius, and just the nicest person you'd ever want to meet. So go watch that, definitely. And I'll see you in a few days. I don't know what's next, but we'll figure it out. Take care. Have a good day.